Okie doke, hello, FrogGoFast. Okay, I'm starting to get into ranked. I'm currently bronze 2. I main Warwick jungle, but I tend to play as many roles and champions as I can. Whenever you're first learning the game, you don't really have to, or at least you don't want to do this in ranked, right? Whenever you play ranked, you want to play something that you've played a lot of. It's fine to play the other roles and other champions, just do that in normal games, or else you'll like be stuck in a rank for a very, very long time. It's also really helpful to play like ARAM to get a feel for a lot of champions without having to play a whole match out. I would like some feedback on what I did wrong, what I could have done, and just basic coaching. I only buy jungle item for start because I don't need the extra healing, and it lets me buy T-Mat easily. TY advance. Not sure what that means, but maybe you mean like not buying the pots? But yeah, that's understandable. Okie doke, so Warwick versus Rammus. A very easy matchup. You're always going to clear a little bit faster than Rammus. And then if you have the ganks first, you're basically always going to be able to, have more impact. Okie doke, so do 4 camp into top lane, it looks like. This is about all Warwick has going for him. Top laner is probably going to go down. And then here, you don't want to go onto the Rammus. The Rammus is going to be a lot tankier than the Scion. He has his W going as well. Rammus W gives him a lot of armor and MR. And then also hurts you whenever you damage him. So better just to attack the Scion here because the Scion is moving into us. And then, right, if we're going to kill the Rammus, he has 600-ish HP and then has that extra armor and MR. As you can see, 141 armor and 67 MR versus Scion, 42 armor, 34 MR. Way easier to kill the Scion. Scion also only having about 300 HP, so as the Scion's moving into us there, right, just auto Q, hold the Q, and then probably another auto, and he's dead. And yeah, that's going to be your best bet here. Might kill them both. Got the Warwick healing. Alrighty, it works out. We get taken out by the Scion. So that's fine for us, given that the Garen dies early. The way you play it, though, like I said, onto the Scion is going to make things more consistent, and especially with the tank jungler like that, you just want to get like what you can usually with those ganks. Alrighty, so we get the Tiamat, and then back to farming. Resetting to the Raptors isn't super necessary, right? If you're going to reset to the Raptors, then you need to have a reason for it. And we're not going to have a mid gank because the enemy mid laner backed. We're not going to fight Scuttle because Rammus is already there. So those are basically our only plays out of Raptors. So instead, just reset to the Golems and then farm all the way upwards back to top lane, making it so we get more gold, get more XP, and then don't have to take some sort of a bridge route where, let's say, we went from Raptors to Golems and then all the way back up to our blue side. Yeah. Can we find ourselves in the ball lane here, but our ADC is too low, and then our Blitzcrank's really far behind, so this is always going to be a really hard play. Alrighty, we're getting some damage off, kind of. We're getting CC'd, probably going to go down. Yeah. Okie doke, so with a gank approach like this, it's kind of reactionary because you go into the river kind of just playing for Scuttle, right? And then just smite. It's simple in hindsight, but harder in game. And then whenever you use the W, it's kind of saying like, I want this gank, but you really have to let your allies like set this up. They'll also see you coming because Rammus is in the river, right? They just saw you on the Scuttle Crab and then on your way down as well. So they're going to be more inclined to back off. And it's very hard to gank this without any setup from your allies, which is really hard to do, right? You have to move your camera to them and then to like the enemies like in the game, so you have to be very quick with that, making a gank like this super hard, because yeah, you basically like check all the bad boxes, right? You're like, they see you, they see you, looks great. 2, they walk away. This is a hard counter to most ganks. And then 3, no setup, like we're screwed. So this is like the recipe for a bad gank. Man, you can even add that the ADC is low on HP too, so yeah, makes it very hard. We don't have flash really set us up. We don't hold the Q onto the pike to maybe like have something going for us, and then We're just gonna get CC to death, basically. And yeah, it's gonna be too much damage from the enemies. And then a bad gank like this puts you pretty far behind, because let's say if we took that that path that I mentioned originally where we reset from base to the golems, we avoid all of this entirely. Instead of being down here, like, making this shenanigans happen, we'd be on the wolf camp, maybe finishing up the golems, and then if Rammus was to attempt to gank down here, if we don't have a gank top lane or something after the scuttle crab, then we could maybe take his camps, and then just reset into our respawning red buff, and everything would be good. We'd be level 6 around that time, and then we could look for a way more guaranteed gank. So first really easy tip to give you is like farm camps before ganking. Warwick can kind of break this rule, but this is a pretty good example of like when it's really unnecessary to look for a gank like this, and then this is the repercussions of it. Alrighty, and then again, just resetting to like this part of the map doesn't make any sense. You don't have to play for dragon, it's not important. Like, go to the reset to the golems or reset to the gromp. Like, always try to reset to these side camps so that you can be farming one way or the other, so that you're ending up bot or top lane, or just bot or top side of the map, and then try to play it out from there. So let's see where we go. Just on a little adventure. And now we're spotted on the dragon, and it's all gonna go wrong. Our bot lane's still screwed, still messed up from our first time down here, and then it's way too easy for the enemy to collapse on this. The dragon is like a reward for like having a successful play. Let's say we farmed all of our camps into bot lane, and then gank them. They have to flash away and then recall, right? The enemy bot lane would have to. Then you could look for a dragon or something. Dying and then resetting to the dragon, never gonna work out, ever, ever, ever. Alrighty, and then we reset to the wolf camp. Resetting to the wolf camp is kind of the same as the raptors. It's like, unless you're doing something immediately after the wolves, it doesn't make too much sense compared to just resetting to the golems or to the gromp. And it's a shame too, we got those early 2 kills, right, to get the team out to farm faster, but then, you know, a gank bot and then a die on dragon. This isn't a winning move with the Tiamat. But you live and you learn. You got to do stuff like that. So, especially in League, like, if the best way to learn it right is just to attack. Not like right here, but like in general, just attack until like you can see what you can do. So even though this dragon attempt is bad, it's like you are gonna learn a lot more from it. At least in the moment, it's gonna hurt more too. No pain, no gain, am I right? So we try to respond to the mid play. There's nothing to clean up, and that's whatever. You could farm this wave. You can kind of spot this out whenever your laner dies. So Ari's coming back to lane. So she won't be there for a little bit. You can maybe get 1 or 2 CS on the wave, and then maybe try to attack the Yasuo a little bit. So something to look for. Doke. These golems still level 1. Every time you kill the jungle camps, they respawn, and then they'll give you more XP for killing them. So even more reason to be on that farming path. Clear everything, gank if you can, and then if you can't, reset, and then get back onto the map to the respawn camps that are giving you more XP. You farm them all, you get more gold, and you just become stronger that way, getting more gold and XP over the enemy jungler. And that's your advantage against the Rammus, is that clear speed. So ganking bot and then that dragon becomes a double whammy against you. And that's how most mistakes in League go. It becomes like a double whammy. You lose like on multiple fronts. Doke. Very close to level 6. You don't want to lead with the Q here. Alrighty, so let's just watch this a little bit slower. Alrighty, so we're approaching. And then you want to just walk into the Scion and then auto attack. And then maybe use your Q. Just to get the cooldown going, because you're just trying to kill him here. But if you Q through him, right, you're going to be going this way, Sion's going to be going this way, he's going to get more distance away from you, and that's not what we want. You could even just ult away from this angle, so let's see. Flashes away, we flash for him, but he still has the ulti, just run away. And then just ends up walking away too. Because yeah, he's level 8, we're level 5. If you're ever like 2 levels down on the enemy, then it's going to be a really big difference. He also has Ninja Tabbies, which is massive against Warwick, and then HP as well. So very, very tanky. Okay, we hit level 6. We can clean it up. Good enough. Okay. Staying for the wave's a little weird, but we get the cannon minion. Alrighty, that's fine. Alrighty, please reset to a side camp. We have no ulti, and the lanes aren't obvious to gank. We can't kill the Scion, Yasuo, to the Ahri. You would have to show up to this kind of as a response to them fighting. It's fine to like not be there immediately as it's happening, and then bot lane's whatever, so yeah, it's really good just to reset to the Gromp, farm everything downwards, and then if we have a gank bot, cool. If not, we could just reset, because trying to gank top lane here is really hard. So if we reset to the golems and then went up, that would be very, very hard for us. Or not very hard, just not as efficient for us. It's very unlikely that we can kill. And now it's just like a classic low elo thing. Like we're just running around the map, seeing what we can find, which Warwick is really good at. So let's see if crime pays today. Alrighty, we'll probably take out the Yasuo. Congratulations. Alrighty. Probably take out the Pyke here. Q, congratulations. You know, and sometimes you run into the enemy and you kill them. But it's going to be very inconsistent if you do it like this, but it's low elo. Into the dragon, and then you could look for a bot gank. Resetting here, you do have a lot of gold, but there's also like nothing to really do once you immediately get back on the map. So it's fine to stay and then farm everything and then reset, so you come back like even way stronger. Alrighty, so yeah, if you're recalling to not even complete the mythic, it's not necessarily like crucial that you get a recall off there. Alrighty, so we look at the wolf camp and then it's to the mid lane, which is okay. The goal is the wave here, not to attack the Yasuo, but let's see how it plays out. Q, ulti, probably gonna go down. Yeah, so we lose this one because he has the ignite. We also lead with the ulti. We don't get anything. Chill, Ahri. We don't get anything like started to begin with, and then he has this passive shield. So when you lead with the ulti, right, you're eating a whole lot of this passive shield, which gives him, that's 198 extra HP. So it's like a whole ruby crystal for him. So we're eating through that, plus the press the attack, and then we try to go with the autos. And if we don't already have him chunked right, we don't get our passive going to get a lot of attack speed to finish him off. So that gives him time to build up his damage, and then get an ulti on, or build up his tornado, get the ulti onto us, and then once he gets that down with the ignite, we're not gonna have enough to take him out. So the first mistake is like leading with the ult. Well, the first mistake is like not playing for the minion wave, right? You don't have to play to kill this Yasuo, but you know that comes with experience. But even if you don't know that, this minion wave is always guaranteed. This is a cannon minion, melee minion, three caster minions. That's a lot of gold. That's like basically half the kill that you would get here. And then you go do your wolves and Gromp. That's a kill in terms of gold and XP. So that's kind of what you're playing for. And yeah, if the Yasuo tries to attack you under turret, then you can get things started on him and play it a little bit slower. So the first step should be like play for the wave. Second step, like if you're doing the fight, you gotta pop that shield before you use the ulti, or it's not gonna work out. But yeah, don't be afraid to go for fights like that when you think you have it, because again, you gotta attack to learn things. Please reset to a side camp. Oh my god. You can't let the game pull you around. The basics of jungle is like just farm all your camps and then look for something. If you're not doing that, then you always are just at the mercy of like what's going on the map. And with a champion like Warwick too, because of his passive where you can run at the speed of light around the map, even if you're not there immediately for a play, you're a really good janitor to show up and then finish off the enemy that's stuck around. Your passive also helps with that, so you know it's fine to not be forcing onto the enemy and instead be trying to punish them. And then fights like these are going to be very random. Alrighty, so Rammus goes in, focusing the Rammus a little bit, and then backing off, which is fine. We're kind of waiting for the ulti here, and then it's really screwed up. Probably not going to be able to get the Yasuo here. Boom. Maybe we get the Rammus. He's trying to die under turret. So yeah, that's that. With those random fights, there's not going to be a whole lot to take away from them. Again, like, we're attacking this guy, but it's not necessary. All of these camps are up, man. You gotta farm these camps. You gotta farm these camps. This Scion is one of the tankiest champions, like, in the game right here, with Sunfire Cape and Ninja Tab he completed so early. So he has that hard counter of walking away too. Alrighty, finally, after 17 REQs, he goes down. Attacking the Rammus works out. And then with no ulti, you gotta be very cautious attacking the Yasuo here. Nice, and you back off, so that's good. Finally, we have Divine Sunder. We could have this Divine Sunder at like 11 minutes or something if we just stayed on that full clear into reset. Find the Yasuo on our Raptors. Kidok. Q onto him. Nice. Nice. So after the early game, in the early game, if you're on that full, like, clearing your camps and then looking for ganks, that will always set you up for a very solid game. So farm the camps before you gank, and then how you play out the ganks or whatnot will evolve over time. In this game, there's not really great examples because you just skip the farming step and walk into the lanes, and then random fights happen, and it's like there's nothing to really take from that. It's too much chaos, you know? So once you enter the mid game, it's going to be about how you play for the dragon fights, and you want to get a lead early through. So let's just write that down. Get a lead early by farming, then ganking. If you can't gank, get objectives. And this is the basics of jungle. You want to get yourself strong by farming, and then after you farm, you want to look for ganks if there's an opportunity. You don't have to force things. And then if you can't get a gank, you look to play for the objectives, which is the dragon and the Rift Herald. So it's as simple as that. Farm all the camps, and then if you can't get a gank, you know, maybe we do the Rift Herald. Farm all the camps, and then if you can't get a gank, maybe we just start the dragon. And through doing that same sort of pattern, you're going to be able to work out when it's good or when it's bad, or like all the gray areas in between. So this game ends up being pretty long. Let's go ahead and skip to about right here, and then we'll just mainly look at like these. Doesn't even look like there's many objective fights, to be honest. We don't even get to a 4th dragon here at like 28 minutes into the game. Alrighty, so we're already dead.
Red team double kill.
Hey, where am I at here? Did I break the replay? Okay, nice. I'm gonna skip to about right here. And then we're dead. Let me go back. Alrighty, we're back in it. Again, stop leading with the Q whenever the enemy is like in melee range. Just auto attack and then Q. So auto Q auto will get your pressy attack going. We use the fear, and then Yasuo gonna land the tornado. You're gonna get knocked up. The Q again. And then that ignite's always gonna be too much for us. Yasuo is also very strong against Warwick because he has so much output, right? He's auto attacking and Qing, so he basically gets like 2 autos a second, and then where he's crit based too, he's able to kind of negate a whole lot of our defenses, just the way the stats work out. So if you can't get like meaningful healing against him, then you're also screwed, and then that's what the ignite does, reduces your healing. So very rough thing to deal with. But the way you avoid all of this is just not hitting the turret. As a melee champion, you always want to be very cautious when hitting a turret like this, right? So you guys get some kills, some of their members die too, and then you look to push mid wave. After you push the wave, you can just back off. If you're not going to take this turret outright since it's full HP, and they have the opportunity to respond with the Rammus and Yasuo being topside here, it's not important to hit this turret. Because the damage on it like isn't gonna really matter.
Red team double kill.
Okie doke. And then let's go ahead and skip to this fight right before this dragon. So, like I said, playing out the early game properly and then getting a lead is gonna be the most important part of your solo queue games. And then when the game's more stable mid game, how you play out the dragon fights is gonna be what decides like if you win or lose. Alrighty, time for revenge on Yasuo or what? Oh, we don't have ulti. We're spamming the Q. Alrighty, and then the ulti comes in. With Yasuo, your ulti makes you unstoppable, so whenever he shoots his tornado, if you ulti him and then land it, then you'll stun him and he can't ult you, and that's really big. Nice. Then what? Someone steals dragon? Oh, they just stopped doing it. Weird. It's gonna take us an eternity to kill the Scion. Alrighty, and then let's just go ahead and skip to what looks like to be the game deciding fights here. Alrighty, so we block Scion ulti, which is okay. Get the fear onto them. Ah, and then we ult the Scion. That's not what we want. And Yasuo gonna wreck our whole team. Naturally. There goes two of our allies. And then Yasuo. Not gonna finish this off. Okay. With your ulti, it's gonna be a very... You basically cast it like... Let me just slow it down when it happens. Alrighty, so he knocks us up, and then we get the fear off, and you cast the ulti this way, right? But you basically are casting like this square right here, and then since Scion's hitbox is like right here, kind of hard to see. And then yeah, you're gonna collide with him and not hit the Yasuo, so you'd have to move pretty significantly far past the Scion until you're like on top of the Yasuo, and then cast the ulti. Because it's very important to ulti the Yasuo. Ulting the Scion doesn't achieve enough. And that's kind of an issue with Warwick. If they have a big front line, then it's very hard to get a good ulti off. Alrighty. Skip to the late game here. Looks like everything's really scattered. Our allies are just losing too hard. Whenever your allies, you know, have very high deaths and whatnot, you can't carry games like this solo on Warwick unless there's like a miraculous team fight. So it's not like you have to feel bad about this game, you know, in terms of like being able to carry it. The things to feel bad about is not farming the camps, that's for sure. Okie doke. So let's see how this last fight plays out. Our whole map's scattered. We can't do anything about the Baron. We have to ulti away. TP sucks from Karen. We have no ADC. They get the Baron. They're gonna push into our base. Doke. And then the fight is over before it even begins with our ADC going down. We try to go into the Yasuo, but we don't have any backup, right? You always have to think where your allies are, especially when you're more comfortable with the game. In this case, it's like Ahri's here, Garen's here, and Blitz is here. Blitz being a support, so can't really assist with the damage. And then our Ahri and Garen are super weak. Level 14, level 13 to level 15 and 15 Scion and Yasuo. So it's just too much damage to deal with at this stage. And then taking, the main thing is like if you take the fight into the enemy like this, you just set up your allies, and if your allies are too weak, it's not going to work out. So let the enemy keep coming into your base, and until they are literally like at the nexus, you don't have to like take the fight into them. Give the enemy the opportunity to engage on you and your team, and then try to counterattack. That will always work out better for you in a losing spot. So yeah, hope those tips help. went a little bit all over the place. The main things to focus on is like farming the camps and then looking for the ganks, and then staying on this sort of get a lead early by farming, look for ganks when you can. If you can't get a gank, go for the objectives. And then this, if you just grind this out, like the answers will reveal themselves, or like when you should do something or when you shouldn't. And then that's going to allow you to get really, really good. So yeah, hope that helps. And yeah, that's it. Peace.